You are ambitious, you know you are capable of more, but you are stuck. Not because you're weak, but because no one taught you how to work with your brain instead of working against it. Ever since I was in high school, each summer break, I would decide that I'm going to make the best out of this break. I'm going to read books, work on my vocabulary, improve my 5K timing, but none of these things really happened. Every single summer break that I had gone to waste. In fact, I became worse after the summer break because I had eaten so much shitty food and had barely used my brain. At the end of the break, I would feel really anxious about returning back to school because I knew I was guilty of not living up to my full potential. But that is not the type of man that I am today. I am now someone who lifts weights at the gym and trains martial arts 6 days a week. I've been a top performing student in multiple engineering programs and I've worked as a software engineer at some of the biggest tech companies. The biggest reason why I was able to make this transformation was because I finally stopped working against my brain and instead started working with it. In this video, I'm going to share with you 4 key principles that, if applied correctly, will make it impossible for you to be lazy and will help you finally start making progress towards your goals. The single biggest change that led to my transformation was a psychological one. Back then, I would probably waste 90% of my day and I still wouldn't feel guilty about it. Because deep down, I knew most of my friends were doing the exact same thing. So I had subconsciously accepted that it is completely normal to waste your time. However, once I finally realized that no, it is not okay to just waste away your time. Like, every single hour that you have on this planet is incredibly meaningful and can be used to develop yourself mentally, physically, and spiritually. That is when I actually began to feel a sense of guilt and responsibility. And once you begin to feel this negative emotion of guilt, that is when you start looking for ways to fix your life. But if you don't even think that there's something wrong with wasting away hours of your life, then why would a person bother changing? Here's a bit of a bird's eye perspective. You have roughly 500 non-sleep hours in a month. Just imagine what would happen to your life if you spend these hours on your ambitions instead. You want to be a UFC fighter? Imagine you spend that time learning jiu-jitsu and kickboxing. Think about what an upgrade that would be, having 500 hours of martial arts training under your belt. You want to be an entrepreneur? Imagine you spend that time reading 50 books on marketing and sales. Think about the expertise you would have on entrepreneurship then. And this is just 1 month of not wasting time that we are talking about. Imagine you did this for an entire year. Who would you be then? Or even better, imagine you did this for an entire lifetime. What would the trajectory of your life look like then? I want you to truly embed this principle in your heart. Not wasting time is a superpower. It's like that machine from Captain America that is going to transform you and make you unrecognizable. You know what is a bit of a dark truth? 90% of your friends or the people that you hang out with will convince you that there is nothing valuable about your time. It is completely okay to waste away 4 hours having gaming sessions or just chilling with the boys. I'm probably going to get a lot of pushback for saying this, but most of the people that you call friends are a net negative in your life. They subconsciously reaffirm that belief that it is okay to waste away your life. Cut out any person that makes you feel like it's okay to waste away the entire day and not make an inch of progress towards your goal. When I started valuing my time a lot more, I had to literally drop all of my friends, except probably like one person who felt the same way and was just as serious about life and his ambitions. And this act of just cutting away people who are living a wasteful life instantly removed so much noise, distractions, and drama from my life, and that freed me up to make progress towards my goals. Let me tell you a bit of a story about one of the clients that I was working with. Let's just call him James. James had dropped out from uni. He was depressed and had anxiety. In short, he was pretty much just wasting away his life. Usually when I work with clients, we make astronomical progress within the first week of the program because we fix a lot of fundamental areas of their lives which are broken, such as sleep, schedule, diet. But with James, this was not the case. Even after fixing a lot of these things, he still somehow was going back to his old messed up behaviors, like smoking weed and fapping, and I just could not understand why that was happening until I asked him about his friends, and then it made total sense. Most of his friends were people who had no goal in life other than going from one pleasure-giving activity to the next, to the extent that some of them were even cocaine addicts, and they were completely okay with spending the rest of their lives living think this exact way. So me and James had this conversation where I told him, bro, if you want to fix your life, you have to get rid of these people. These anchors that are just holding you down. And to be honest with you, he did not really like this suggestion because he has been friends with these people for years and years and they have become part of his social circle now. But eventually we settled on the plan that he is not going to interact with them for at least the next 30 days. And guess what? As soon as we eliminated his degenerate friends, bam, his progress skyrocketed. He enrolled back into uni, started studying 3 to 4 hours a day, was performing well on his assignments, and he started working out again. And the most interesting part is, after the 30 days were over, he tells me that Jibreal, the kind of man that I have now become, does not want to hang out with those people again. And this is a bit of a universal truth. You might find it challenging to leave your degenerate friends right now because you have not experienced the sort of life that you are capable of living. But once you start seeing progress in your own life, then you're far more okay with the idea of getting rid of people. You started valuing time, you have eliminated people who were bringing you down. But there is just one problem. Even though you have eliminated the people who are bringing you down, you still have not eliminated the habits that are bringing you down and making you lazy. I want you to do this exercise. Create 2 lists. The first list is the bad list. On this list, you're going to note down all the habits that you do that give you instant, cheap, temporary pleasure. Things like doom scrolling, fast food, video games, weed, porn. But everyone's list is a kind of different. The other list that you're going to make is the good list. On the second list, you're going to note down some of the activities that require you to put in some effort, but you feel good after performing that effort. This is the delayed gratification list. There could be things like working out, meditation, reading, working on your business. You deep down know that the activities on this list are good for you. Once you have these lists prepared, your job each day is to avoid the activities present on the bad list and try to do the activities that are present on the good list, because it is things that give you this instant temporary pleasure that actually make you lazy and content with your situation. And if you're a young, ambitious man, then you need to avoid these things like the plague. Even if 90% of the people around you are indulging in them, you are also going to come to this realization that the more items you do on your good list, the happier and more content you feel with yourself, and the lesser is your desire to seek things from the bad list. Now, living your life solely based on this principle of 2 lists is simple, but it is not easy. If you're just starting out, you're very quickly going to realize that you don't really feel like doing things on the good list, and you find it very hard to resist things on the bad list. One way to make this good list easy to follow is to turn this list into a routine, meaning repeat the same habits at the same time every single day. Because what happens when you do the same things at the same time every single day? These things begin to feel automated. They begin to feel effortless. That's because your brain becomes pretty efficient at doing them. And if you find yourself saying something along the lines that routines do not work for me, I've tried them before and they give me anxiety, things still feel hard, I feel like it kills all my spontaneity, I want to tell you that the problem is not with the routines. You just don't know how to design a routine that you will actually follow and have fun while doing it. Check out a few videos on my channel where I teach you this art of designing a routine. Now, if you're finding it hard to quit things on the instant pleasure list, I want you to turn that list into a set of rules. And the goal of these rules is to eliminate the set of behaviors that cause you to seek instant pleasure. For example, I realized that if I have apps like Instagram or Reddit on my phone, then I'm far more likely to doom scroll. So I've made this rule for myself that I am not allowed to have social media apps on my phone. And this rule protects me from doom scrolling. For every bad habit that you have, there are multiple points of failures that you can avoid if you have good rules in place. So go through each and every item on that instant pleasure list and ask yourself these questions. What usually causes me to slip into this bad habit? Whatever your answers are, make a rule regarding them. If you would like to work with me to build you that rock solid discipline and overcome your laziness so you can finally get those goals accomplished, then make sure that you click on the link in the description and book a one-on-one call with me. In this call, we'll discuss where you are currently in life, what your goals are, and what exactly are the tools that you need to get them accomplished. So you have understood the value of time, you have let go of people bringing you down, you have developed good structures in your life, but there is just one thing that is missing. What is really at stake here? What if you don't follow the rules that you have created? Also, what happens if you do follow your routine really well? Human behavior is dictated by 2 things: rewards and punishments. The reason why we go to a job is because we get a salary, which is a reward. The reason why we don't miss work is because your salary gets deducted, or you might get fired. And both of these are punishments. So before you start your journey, I want you to write down what is the punishment or the pain that you're going to experience if you do not live your life the right way. I call this your personal hell. Take a page or go to your computer and ask yourself these questions. What will my life look like in the next few years if I continue living in the same degenerate, lazy way? What are those truly dark things that might happen to you? And go quite deep when you're describing this personal hell. I wrote mine a couple of years ago, and I remember one of the things that I wrote was that how is the woman of my dreams, my future wife, how is she going to respect a man who cannot control what he eats, who jerks off to pixels on his screen? How would I feel on my deathbed knowing that there was so much more that I could have done with my life, but instead I lost it all to doom scrolling? Writing these worst case scenarios helps you tremendously in sticking to your rules, because the truth is you are going to end up in this hell if you do not stick to your own rules. Now that you have created this personal hell, you have something that you want to run away from. You now need something that actually pulls you towards it. So I then started writing down the rewards that I would experience if I stuck to these good habits and rules. I call this your personal heaven. Ask yourself these questions. Just how good would my life be if I was disciplined, productive, and not numbing myself with cheap instant pleasure? I wrote that I would become strong, jacked, and my mind would be like an impenetrable fortress. My future kids would look up to me and respect me, and that God would be proud of me. And it could be pretty superficial too. It could be that you just want a bunch of money and some materialistic thing. As long as it truly motivates you at this stage of your life, write it down, because this is truly the reward you're going to experience if you stick to your routine and the rules that you have created. So the principles that I mentioned really help you to stop being lazy and get moving towards your goals. But it is possible that your laziness is just a symptom and the root cause of it might be something entirely different. So make sure that you watch this video to figure out the root cause of your laziness.